What's up, guys? Welcome back to Airbnb ABC. If you guys are new to this, or if you've been in this for a while, you either need to know or you already know that reviews are the lifeblood for the bookings that you are looking to get. And the reason for that is that when people are looking to spend their hard-earned money and their time more than anything, 'cause a lot of folks don't get a whole lot of vacation, at least in the United States. They are going to be spending this time and money, and this might be the only one that they've had in a while or will have for a while because they might need to save up. And so when those folks are looking at staying in a place that has a well-known reputation, like for example a Hilton, maybe a Holiday Inn, maybe a well-known resort chain, or even maybe a Night's Inn, if you are looking to get shot, people know what to expect out of those places. For the most part, there's not going to be too much variation. It's a well-known brand. They say what they have, and they usually provide up to the level that they are, reputed to provide. Your Airbnb or your VRBO is a different set of circumstances because each one of those is unique. And for the most part, as far as I know, that there is not a big brand on Airbnb or VRBO that really lends itself to having a consistent product that people know what is going to be expected. Even in the major management companies in some of these major vacation areas, we have stayed with them, and they've had some places have been very good and some places have not been, depending on how the owner is. And so with each property being unique, the property may not necessarily match the description or the pictures that the manager wants to put out there. And the problems can be, widespread. It can be that the property was originally really awesome, but these pictures and description is now 2, 3, 4, 5 years old and things are outdated and worn out. They may have used a wide angle lens to make the property look much better than it or bigger than it is in real life. They may have used drone pictures that might sort of show that there's a view when maybe there isn't a view. Maybe it's the location is not exactly the greatest place, but they were able to use, again, camera trickery and just being able to focus on what you want versus what you don't want. And so the place might look like it's in the middle of nowhere, when in reality it's in a giant neighborhood of cabins or beach houses, or it's right next to an interstate or a paper plant, or just something that you wouldn't want to vacation next to. Or maybe that the place is just consistently dirty, the host is bad, or all sorts of other things that you are not going to be able to tell from the listing if these things are accurate or not. And so reviews are a way for actual people, actual guests, to post what their experience was in the property and be able to give potential guests the actual experience that they had at this place that you've put on the market that you say is amazing. And so you are going to want to get the most and the best possible reviews, preferably 5 stars. That's what we are striving for so hard in the short-term rental business, is 5-star reviews. 4, 3, 2, and 1 are basically that they did not have a good time, and the algorithms that Airbnb and VRBO use are looking for 5-star reviews. Anything less than that is essentially not a good thing. But the one thing that I want to get across before we even get started into how to get more and get those 5-star reviews is that maintaining that perfect 5-star review is not a reasonable goal to have. And a lot of folks get upset when they've had a string of 10 or 15 5-star reviews on their brand new property, and then they get that 4, or they get that 3 that isn't necessarily warranted. Now, there will be times where it is warranted, but we have had several times where people said they have a great time, they love the place, they'd highly recommend it, 4-star review. Or we've had times where people say that they liked the cabins, they liked everything about where they were, but they didn't particularly like Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge, which isn't necessarily a review of the property, but their entire vacation, 4-star review. You're going to have these things, and so don't get hung up on having that perfect 5-star review. Try to keep yourself at a 4.9x, or as close as you can to that. That way people will know that you are actually a real place and that these aren't all just fake reviews. But keep that in mind so you don't lose it when you finally do get bumped off of your 5-star pedestal. So there's a lot of things that you all need to be doing in order to earn that 5-star review. But if you guys have been subscribed to my channel, been following me for a while, and if you haven't, subscribe down below, you know that the properties that we are invested in are top tier properties that are in clean and great shape, and giving the guest a 5-star experience is the norm versus the exception, where occasionally things go wrong and they don't have as good of an experience. But the number one thing that you can do is ask for that 5-star review. And this is going to do two things for you. It's going to prompt people to give you a review and set the expectation that a 5-star review is what you were looking for. Simply by asking people that are going to be inclined to review are going to get you more reviews in general. And if you do set that expectation that you were looking for a 5-star review, the chances that you are going to get more 5-star reviews are going to go up. This also has the effect of differentiating yourself from the typical hotel review or the hotel rating star system. So for example, like a Knights Inn might be a 1-star hotel, a Hilton might be a 3-star hotel. And that has been the way that things have been rated as far as accommodations for, a long time. Same with restaurants and such. But with Airbnb and VRBO, they're asking folks to rent or to rate the experience that they had at any one of these places. And this is the way that a lot of things are going now as far as product reviews or any type of other reviews that don't necessarily fit in with that restaurant hotel rating metric. Because if you think about it, you can have a 5-star experience at McDonald's and you can have a 3-star experience at a very high-end steakhouse where you don't exactly get what it is that you thought that you were getting. So what we are asking for is a 5-star review on the experience that you had within the accommodation that they rented. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys the message that I put on screen or that I send to folks that actually prompts them to give me a 5-star review shortly after their stay so that it's fresh in their mind and they can do it. So this is the actual message that I send to folks, and I send this to them approximately 6 hours after checkout. That's going to do a couple things for me. For one, it's going to keep that, it's going to be fresh in their mind. The experience that they had in my cabin is going to be very fresh in their mind, and this gives people that are driving home or traveling something to do on their way home. A lot of times people are sitting in the passenger seat, they'll get that, and so that is a great time for them to write that review and put it down for me to get me more and to give me 5-star reviews. But this is inhospitable. In any place where you guys see these things that have these percentage signs, this is things where Hospital automatically pulls information from my listings and from the bookings in order to automate things. And I have videos on automation in the channel, but it says, "Hi, guest first name. It was a pleasure hosting you in Gatlinburg," is probably what we'd have most of the time. "If you enjoyed your stay, we would really appreciate a 5-star review. It really helps whatever property they were staying in stand out." And then this is the part where I kind of give them some, prompt them for feedback, and that also helps people because if they did have a great time or they had something go on, it feels like they are giving me help. And this is just some, kind of psychological things that gets people to actually do the things that you want. If you have any suggestions for how we could have improved your stay, please do not hesitate to let us know right here, as we are constantly working to improve the experience for everyone. Best regards, and then Mike. Like I said, I send this to folks 6 hours after they check out, so it's fresh in their mind, and they will most likely have the time to do it. I only send this out one time, and I've seen people ask, how many times should I ask for a review? Don't be annoying about it. And in general, I try not to be annoying with my communications because I want people to enjoy their vacation without being constantly nagged by the host. I've rented places where the host has been in my ear every day, and it's been super annoying, so I don't do that. In addition, Airbnb and VRBO are going to prompt the guests to review as well, so just don't be annoying with your communication in general and your review requests. Now, the ones from Airbnb and VRBO, those are coming from some corporate nobody, and you are less likely to get people to respond to them, and then they don't prompt them for a 5-star review. They just ask, how did so-and-so do? How did so-and-so's property do? Whereas you physically asking for a 5-star review is more likely because it's personal, it's one-on-one, to get the review and for it to be 5 stars. Now, I mentioned earlier that you guys are going to have to do some things in order to earn this 5-star review, and it's the things that we've talked about on this channel time and time again. And the biggest things is that you need to have your, property needs to match the description in the photographs, which should all also be top-notch as well. Your listing should be top-notch. Your photographs should be professional photos. They should all be top-notch, and it needs to line up. So the things that are in the listing, in the photographs, when they walk in, needs to, match that description. It needs to be clean, and everything needs to work. You can't have a bunch of broken stuff, especially over long term, because people will review that, and folks will look through the reviews and say, the hot tub's broken, the hot tub's broken, the hot tub's broken. So you haven't fixed it, and they're not going to believe you if you say that you did. You need to be a great and responsive host. A lot of people treat these messages as something that they can get around to whenever. I treat them as text messages, and I respond back as quickly as I can. And this is often noted in the reviews that I am very responsive as a host, and people like that, and people book because folks say that our places are very clean and because the host is very responsive. I had people mention that they booked because of those two things. At some point in time in your hosting journey, you are going to have a bad stay for whatever reasons. It could just be that the guest is not happy and they're unpleasable, but it's more likely that your place is going to have a problem, like the HVAC is going to go out, the water's going to go out, the electricity is going to be off for a long period of time. God forbid that you have bed bugs, but these things do happen. And so when those happen, I go ahead and delete this review request message, because I don't really want them to give any more prompting to leave me a bad review that someone else is going to see, not because I'm trying to hide things, but because I am going to try to fix those items as soon as possible. I'm not going to have multiple guests dealing with a problem, and so I don't want to have anyone out there thinking that something may be an issue when they show up. Now, with that, VRBO and Airbnb are still going to send their own prompts, but again, when it's coming from a corporate nobody, people are a lot less inclined to leave those reviews, and so it just is what it is in that case. If you do get a bad review, you can respond to it. I have a video on that I'll link up here versus continuing this one any longer than we have to. So guys, that is how I get more reviews and more 5-star reviews, by using just the simple things of basically asking for it. You click on the videos that are on the screen right now. They're going to tell you guys all about the types of properties that we buy. There's a property tour playlist of all 3 cabins that we own, the types of cabins that we own, how we manage them from afar, and all the trials and tribulations of running a short-term rental Airbnb VRBO business. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, subscribe down below. Hit the like button. It really helps this video out. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one.